Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're tuning in right now, chances are you are deep in the middle of a job search. And I get it. You're likely exhausted, frustrated, or just totally overwhelmed by the sheer amount of conflicting advice out there. So today, we're creating a safe space. We're going to answer those burning, vulnerable questions you might be a little afraid to ask. Because when you're desperate to find a job, there are honestly no dumb questions, only unasked ones. We're going to clear this fog. Together. Before we really dive in, I want to be super clear about where our information is coming from. You aren't getting random, untested social media hacks today. Your career is just way too important for guesswork. Instead, we're relying on trusted, evidence-based data from the U.S. Department of Labor, Career One Stop, and ONET to get you real, grounded answers. When you need a job, ambiguity is literally your worst enemy. So here's our roadmap for today to help clear that fog. First, clearing the job search fog. 2. The living professional record. 3. Beating the hiring systems. 4. Explaining your messy path. 5. Networking for real people. And 6. Taking the first step. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1. Clearing the job search fog. Let's directly tackle that overwhelming, panicky feeling of needing to do a million things at once. It is the absolute most common question we hear. Where do I even start? And the panic behind it usually comes from feeling like you gotta fix your resume, update your LinkedIn, and aggressively network all in the exact same afternoon. But honestly, that's just too much to solve at once. You have to start with one simple question. What kind of job am I trying to get next? Notice I didn't say what job do you want forever or for the rest of your career, just next. Narrowing your starting lane immediately lowers your anxiety. To actually find that lane, you've gotta be ruthless about cutting out the noise. A job search requires activity, yes, for sure, but activity by itself is not a plan. Firing off 100 random applications a day, that's noise. Rewriting your resume every morning based on some random internet article, noise. You have to stop chasing hacks and start looking for patterns in what the market actually wants, for your specific target. Section 2. The living professional record. This is a core concept that'll fundamentally change how you view your own experience. Let's talk about why you might feel totally qualified, but somehow still completely invisible to employers. This is so incredibly painful, isn't it? You know you can do the work, but nothing moves. You apply, you wait, and you hear nothing. The hard truth is that being qualified is not the same thing as being understood. If your value isn't painfully obvious to a complete stranger or an automated system, you simply disappear. You might be aiming at roles where your experience just isn't being translated clearly enough for that specific audience. It is absolutely crucial to separate who you are from the pieces of paper you submit. Your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your interview answers, those are just renderings. They're narrow, tailored translations for a specific audience. But those renderings, they're built from your living professional record. This is the actual, unshakable truth of your capabilities. It's the problems you solved, the tools you mastered, the context you navigated. When you build from the record first, you finally stop feeling like an imposter because your renderings are actually rooted in reality. Section 3. Beating the hiring systems. With your living professional record firmly in mind, let's look at tackling the scariest hurdles out there: applicant tracking systems and online hiring portals. We have all been there, and the silence is just deafening. But you've got to stop treating every silence as a verdict on your personal ability. Silence is incredibly common in these overloaded hiring systems, and it doesn't automatically mean you aren't qualified. It often just means the system filtered you out because your experience wasn't translated using the precise language that specific employer was looking for. To fix that translation problem without completely losing your mind, try mentally slicing up the job post to relieve the pressure. You do not need to be a 100% perfect match for every single bullet point. You just need to prove you can do the core work. That's slice 1. Slice 2 represents helpful extras that you might be able to pick up. And slice 3, honestly, that's often just inflated noise or a corporate wish list. Focus your energy entirely on proving your connection to the core. Section 4. Explaining your messy path. Next, we need to address the elephant in the room for so many job seekers. Those parts of your history you are terrified to bring up. Let's talk about messy paths. So the crucial point is this: a layoff, or taking a season away from work to care for a family member, or a health gap. These things explain why you're available right now. They do not define what you are capable of doing. Please do not let the ending of your last job become the whole story of your career. I really want you to let this sink in. You don't need to overshare. You don't need to sound defensive, and you definitely don't need to apologize for having a human life. You just need one short, truthful, and forward-moving sentence to explain the gap, say what happened plainly, and then immediately pivot back to the evidence of what you're ready to do next. Section 5, networking for real people. For a lot of us, networking feels terrible. And that's usually because we treat it like a desperate sales campaign rather than what it actually is, a simple human connection. When you're panicking, your first instinct is to message someone and essentially ask them to solve your entire job search. But think about it. If you drop that massive weight on someone, even someone who likes you, they're going to freeze up. They just won't know how to help. You have to ask for something specific and reasonable. Instead of dropping a vague, heavy request on someone, like, hey, let me know if you hear of anything, which is pure noise, by the way, contrast it with a useful signal. Ask a specific, bite-sized question. Ask for insight on a specific role or if your background translates well to their industry. This gives your contact a manageable, low-pressure way to actually help you out. Section 6. Taking the first step. We've covered a whole lot of ground today to clear the fog, so let's bring this arc to a close with how you can actually start moving, right now, today, without getting overwhelmed. First off, take a deep breath. You do not need to fix your entire career story, rewrite your whole resume, and overhaul your LinkedIn profile all at once today. Doing that just pulls you right back into the fog. Instead of trying to do everything at once, use a simple step-by-step method to kill the panic. Pick just one specific job direction, then map out a single piece of your experience. Jot down the hard evidence that supports it, and quickly note the context of how you did it and the problems you solved. That's it. You're building the very first brick of your living professional record. As you start putting together the unshakable truth of your work, I want you to ask yourself, how much more confident will you feel when you finally stop trying to endlessly hack the system and start simply translating your true evidence for the right audience? Your value has been there all along. The question is, what single piece of evidence are you going to document first?